think like 100 bob or 150, like that cheap. At 8 in the morning. I'm like, oh, I think this is the time someone proposes. Oh, and guess what? That was it. He never proposed. Like, I don't know, the ring kneeling down, or so he was like, okay. How can you be there without money? And why do you have this small phone? Hi guys, I hope everyone is okay. So today I'm here to talk about building your own home. What are the tips? What do you need to consider? What's your budget? What's the kind of a house you want to build? And when do you want to start? Do you want to build with on a loan, or you have your own cash saved ready? What are the steps that you need when you're building your home, a family home? Not houses for business, that is a different story. Your own home, your family home. So as I've told you before, we've just moved in our house, and within the video I'll show you a few things, a few pictures, a few videos of how we started, and maybe to inspire you, because in this world, when you have your own home, your own house, moreover when you have kids, the best thing you can do for that family is to have your own home. Renting, yes, it's what we do when you can't afford your own house, but in life everyone deserves to have their own home. Everyone deserves to have their own home. So walk with me, sit down, relax, and enjoy the journey of how you can build your own home. So first of all, what do you need? First of all, you need to have a dream. Do you know that not everyone has a dream of having their own home? Or not everyone wants to build a house. For them, if they focus on having a fancy car, or if you're renting this fancy house, you feel like you have it all. No. I always advise young girls that have a dream and always try to, before you even get married, try to do your own things. For example, when I was still single, I had this big dream of, building my own home with my own money that I've worked for. Maybe with the support of the bank or without, but as long as I have my own home. It's something that I really wanted so much. And I remember there's this one time I was from work, and then one of the family member friend called me like, oh Kitty, there's this land in Bugesera, someone is selling it, he's desperate, he needs money right away, and it's cheap. What do you think? And I'm like, I've always wanted to buy a land. Where is it? Can you take me now? Like, yes. I remember running to Bugesera. For those who know Bugesera in Rwanda, I remember running to Bugesera with this guy in the evening to see that land and to see that person. So I reached there. I remember it was around 6:30. I met the guy who was selling the land because he needed money for an operation, and the deadline was coming to the deadline was around the corner, so he needed like cash immediately. And I remember that time I'd done a gig that I had some good money that I'd kept somewhere. It was even in dollars, cash, and I didn't know what to do with it, because I wanted two things. I wanted to buy a car when I was still single and young, and I wanted to build my own house. So that time when I had that money, I was thinking, should I buy a car or should I start building? But again, I didn't have a land. So I had to first buy a land before starting building. And I was a bit like, nah, I need to start looking for land, running up and down. I was a bit discouraged. So I kept the money as I figure it out. So we went, I remember we reached that place at around 6:30 in the evening. And the guy was like, okay, let me take you guys. He took us to the land. By the time we reached to the land, it was at night. I could not even see properly. But now he was like, okay, you see from here to there. So this other guy had to go walk, stand where the land ends. And I was like, okay, it's from here to there. And the guy was like, it's this amount. I remember buying that land so cheap that time. I think it was 2016 or 17 there. So I remember liking it at that time of the night. And I was like, oh yes, I'm taking it. I'm taking it. We have a deal. So we went to his place. We started having agreement at that time. We signed the agreement that he's selling to me. I'm buying. I paid him cash. Dollars. Rich young lady. So I paid the guy and I left with the title for the land. And it felt so good having my own thing, having my own property. So the next step was to start building. So before I got married, that was the plan, that I had to build my own land, my own house. So I didn't get a chance to build my own house before getting married, but it was one of my dreams. Up to now, I still have my land and I'm still thinking, and I believe one day, one time I'll build that land, because where it is, it's a hot cake land. Yes. So I'll build it. I know. I'll build it. So when you're buying a land, first of all, look for the places that are developing, because most of the times the lands there are a bit cheaper. And again, if the places are developing, it means at one time that place will be a hot cake. So if you buy it now, even if you don't have money to build immediately, it's okay. You can always buy and keep that land. And even if things go south and you can't build, it's still okay. You can sell it and use that money for something else. So land is a very, very important property that you can have or you can buy anytime, and it will always save you in life, like at some point, as long as the location has value. So look for land, check where it's still developing, and make sure you ask questions. What are the plans for this land? When are they planning to do the roads? When are they planning to do ABCD? What type of houses do they want in this community? Like in Rwanda, every city or community has a city plan development. Like the government has already put a plan, all the type of structures that are allowed to build in that community, which is a good thing. The moment you go there, you buy a land, you know that, in the next 5 years, this is what is expected in this land, in this community. So you buy knowing, even if you don't build, by the time you sell it, the value will be so high. So it's very important to research on the community you're planning to buy a land, or do your research. Make sure like the land you're buying, it's in a good location. Don't just buy just because you have money and you can afford it and you just buy. No. Make sure you get some information and ask. Don't ask only one person. Look for people who know what it needs, or what are the plans for that community. So the moment you gather all that information, you're able to know and plan accordingly. Like, oh, so this community, they are expecting such buildings only. Will I afford it? It's okay. Even if I don't afford it now, but maybe in 5 years I'll afford it. Let me just buy it. Don't just buy. Like where I bought my land, it's where they are building the new airport, which is going to be the biggest airport in East Africa, if not Africa. So you can imagine the value of that land now. Remember, I bought it very, very cheap. The guy was desperate for money. So right now, if I decide to sell it, I'll be rich. So research about the place you're buying. Number two, are you ready to start building? How are you going to build? Finance. Is the bank going to finance you? Do you have the money ready? And what's the budget? Those questions are very important because it gives you a direction. For example, in our case, we knew, as I told you, if you've watched all my videos, you know that, I was so keen on a land near airport for my personal reasons. So you need to know your budget. The budget is very important because you're able to decide or to know that, oh, I'll build my house in 3 years, in 4 years, or I'll build my house in my own space. If it takes 5 years, well and good. If it takes 2 years, well and good. But you need to know how you're going to finance it for better planning. Because sometimes if you just start building without a plan, a proper plan, that's when you find people are stuck in the middle of, like, the structure is there, but now they don't have money to do the rest of the finishing of the house. Because sometimes there's lack of planning. You didn't know what it is. Building, it's so hard, really hard, that sometimes you reach in the middle and you feel like giving up. You feel like giving up because now you feel like you've put in a lot of money and the house is not getting finished. And depending on the size of the house you're building, that also is another problem. So for us, we came out with this big idea of a big house. And at first, we were not so sure like how much it would cost us. Yes, we went through the experts, we got the plan for the house, we got the budget according to what we wanted. So we knew it would cost this amount according to the experts. So we started building our house. The plan was we do it in our own space. No pressure, no bank, nothing. So it started as a good deal. We started in our own space. It was exciting. And now the funny thing is, building a structure is so easy. It moves faster. But when it comes to the finishing, my dear, you can cry. So as we were moving so fast with the structure, I remember my husband saying, oh, I don't want to do site mixing. I want concrete ready from the company, that is Lafarge, to my site. I remember the ground floor, the foundation, we used concrete ready. And this hard one, what was it? The heavy one, I don't remember. The heavy one for big structures, we used that one. And then the structure moved so fast. The first floor, we put a slab with concrete ready from Lafarge to the site. By the time we were done with the entire structure, we realized, that was a mistake. We spent a lot of money on ready mix than mixing at the site. But again, when you look at it, the difference is not so big. So if you're looking for quality work, it's better to go for ready mix. That is if you're ready to go above your budget. But if you're so tight on the budget, mixing at the site is easier and cheaper. But the difference is not that big. So we were like, we are using ready mix. We used ready mix throughout. After that, we started regretting because now it was so expensive. Like, okay, now this money, the difference between this and this, would have used that other money to do the plastering. But now it's already done. We're happy with the results. But now remember, we didn't follow the budget. We just did something because we were excited about it, and of course we knew the quality of ready mix than mixing at the site. So at that point, we didn't think of the budget and we didn't think of how much we are going to spend on ready mix. So we are done with the structure. It was exciting. I remember we used to visit the site almost every day just to see the house, just to see it. So now the structure itself, it's not a hard job. Let me move faster. We go to finishing. Oh. Generally, I would say cement is not a big problem. It's a problem when you're doing plastering. Oh my goodness. These guys can eat cement like nothing. And remember, this is a very big house. It's not too big, but it's just enough. But again, it's not small. So I remember we used to buy cement, and my husband was like, okay. Remind me why we decided to build a big house. And I'm like, but it's what we wanted from day one. Like, okay. He kept on forgetting. I influenced the big house. He wanted a small house. He never wanted to build a house in the first place. He wanted to buy already built. And I don't believe in, okay, I believe in buying, which is okay, like you can buy. But again, as your first home as a family, I prefer building so that, you enjoy the process. You see, building a house is like getting pregnant and having a baby at the end of the day. It's that the journey is difficult, but once you're done with the journey, you feel good. You feel like you've done something that you'll never forget. Like it's the process that makes it worth it. Like you 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 know how you got pregnant, your baby growing, and now you see your baby getting married, they start working. Like you see your baby and you're like, I can't believe this is my baby. Like she was born yesterday and now she's getting married, and now like the journey is what matters, and that is something you never forget in life. So me, I wanted our first home. We built it ourselves, and then if we are lucky we can buy more later. But right now, the first house, we need to start from scratch and we enjoy the process. So my husband, for your information, he believes in apartments. He likes apartments. He doesn't mind. He tells me, me, I built this house because of you. Me, I would stay in apartments anytime, any day. I don't mind at all. But where I come from, even when you're getting married, the first thing they ask you, does he have a land? Does he have a house? A house is a very important thing in my country. Either a guy or a girl, a lady, it's very important. So you cannot tell me everyone lives in their own compound in Rwanda. When you're grown, your kids are grown, they come back home with their families, husbands, kids, and imagine they come to an apartment whereby you have to go share a compound and people are like, oh, they have a party there, they are making noise for us. Like you're in the middle of your compound, your party. For those who are in the apartment, you're in the middle of your party and then other people are passing by. You have no control over that. And moreover, when you're old, you want that freedom. It's okay, you can always move back to apartment after you've lived in your house. You can always go back if all at all, like you, it's just the two of you and your kids have moved out and the house is so big. You can always go back. But at least the first time of every stage, you need to make sure your kids can come home and you have the freedom of moving around with your guests, having parties without anyone disturbing. I don't like sharing. Yes, I don't like sharing. So I don't like to share my compound with anyone else. Even when we are in apartments, I never used to go out. because I would not like it seeing people, like, you know how apartments are. There are so many people you don't know. You see people come in and go, come in and go. You don't know who is nice and who is not. You don't know who can kill and who cannot kill. Like, and now in this country of ours, our Kenya, where, let me not even go there. But me, I'm not an apartment person because of where I come from, and it's okay. So my husband, anyways, we started the plastering, which was so expensive because of cement, but finally we finished. Now the mistake we did, I wouldn't even call it a mistake because it's something we wanted. We wanted big windows, like big doors, long windows, you know. And we did that on a house. We did that. But now the challenge was fixing the aluminum or the metals or the glasses. Those things are expensive. Dear Lord. I remember we have this thing of researching before we make a decision. That's something I've learned from my husband. He always moves around 1,000 times, get different quotations before he decides, which is a good thing. And I really encourage people, before you purchase something for the house, make sure you've got, like, you outline like 5 best companies for that product and get quotations, compare the prices. Of course, quality has to be number one priority. Compare the prices. And for your information, I've learned a trick. In Kenya, in Rwanda it's not so common, but in Kenya, whenever there's let's say mid-year and end-year, there are always discounts on most of the things, in most of the companies. So it's one thing that I learned from my husband, that you always save your money. You put a budget. You say, my budget for the, let's say, tiles is, an example, 1 million. You keep your 1 million. The moment people start advertising for discounts, end of year discount, mid-year discount, that's the best time to buy things. That's the best time to buy things because you always get on a good deal. So my husband, for him, of course, is Kenyan. He knew that. Me, I didn't know. So I remember we started shopping for windows. We had not decided what we are going to use, aluminium or metals. We were just in between. Of course, we wanted aluminium. But now moving around, and with the size of the windows and the doors we had, aluminium only was almost another house. So we're like, okay, aluminium looks good. It's so beautiful in a house, but can we afford it right now? So we compare the prices and we notice now we cannot go for aluminium. Plus the security. That time we didn't know much about the security in Syokimau. But again, we had a few information because we noticed most of the people in Syokimau are using metals, not aluminium. Reason being, the security. Metals are the best for security, not aluminium. So we decided, okay, with the prices and other reasons, I think the best decision will be on metals. So we bought metals. I remember they were also so expensive because remember the house is big. Can you imagine we have a window of 3 meters? 3.3, I think. 3.3 meters. And that was like, now imagine like the entire house has big windows. I'm telling you, it was. So we decided to go for metals, as I've said, because of the sizes of the windows and the doors. I don't regret that because right now, with what I know, it was the best decision for us. So the windows we bought, and they were so expensive. So we started now looking for tiles. Oh my goodness. I remember we went to almost all the shops that sell tiles in this country because they were so expensive. And again, as I told you, my husband is so good at, researching before making a decision. So we went around and we got these so many quotations of different companies. And I remember one time we sat down, we went through them like it was homework. We went through them, checked everything, discussing about each quotation plus the company itself. And we realized the difference is small. You're dealing with only the best companies in the city. The difference was small. So he told me, you know what? Let's wait for end of year discount. And I'm like, okay. Me, I'm this kind of a person. When I have money, why do I have to wait to do something when I can do it now? I'm that person. It's not a good thing, but I get so excited and I just want to do something right away. I don't want to wait. I have the money. The products are there. Why do I have to wait? So he was like, calm down, calm down. You sit down. We wait for December discounts. We are going to get a good deal. So we waited. We waited for December and discounts were everywhere. Everywhere. Every company had a discount, a discount, a discount. So we end up getting beautiful tiles at I think it was like 20% discount from the original price, which was a good deal. We bought all the tiles for the entire house, bathroom, balconies, like the entire house. And we paid. We actually, I remember we paid and we told them we'll come for them in January or February. That was December. We told them we'll come in January or February. So we bought and left them there because we are not ready to, start fixing tiles. So, but again, we didn't want to miss the chance of the discounts, which was, by the way, a good strategy for us because 20% can do something else on the house. When it comes to the house, each coin matters. So you cannot, unless when you're super rich and you don't mind about money. But if you do, my dear, every coin matters. So we kept them there. So in around February, we picked them or we started fixing, and they were so beautiful. Like, we picked the right tiles for us. Now, another thing was finishing, painting, and lighting. And on the balcons and bathrooms, we had to separate the tiles. We had to buy different, which was a good deal. Sometimes we buy tiles. These people sometimes can mess you up. You buy tiles and then they mix for you. Remember, we bought and we picked them after 2 months. So when we got our tiles, we noticed when we are fixing, we noticed some of the tiles are not matching. Like, they are not of the same color, not even the same design. They are close, but they are different. You can easily tell. But we were so lucky that there were not so many boxes. And we could not go back to tell them that, oh, because when we picked them, we didn't fix them immediately. We took another 2 months to fix them. So these guys had moved on. So by the time we realized, oh, okay, these boxes are not the same, these tiles are not similar with these ones, it was a bit too late. I got so disappointed. I even went back to the lady that, you guys gave us a few boxes that were not matching with the tiles we bought. And I got so disappointed that she was not even bothered, but you guys bought long time ago, it's very hard to tell. And I'm like, you know what, it's okay, good enough. We had used them 99%, so the 1% was just on small places, and we are able to hide them, like for example in the bathrooms, near the toilet. You're able, because you know the toilet will be there, you're able to hide it, la la. So we managed to survive. You cannot even tell. There were not many. I think like there were like 6 boxes, but still that is your money. If you needed something, like something that is 100% this color, why would I get a different color? So it always messes up your plans, you know, and you don't want to someone to mix for you when you know it's not what you wanted. It's always not a good thing. So anyways, we went to plastering. That was another thing. My goodness, plastering was also the material. And now one thing I've learned, when you're dealing with fundis, that's why in my next project I will go direct to contractors. I want to experience that, because when you're dealing with fundis, sometimes they've learned the job, they've learned on the job. When you're lucky, they went to school to learn that. So when you're so unlucky and you land on someone who has learned on the job, those are the people who mess up your house. And by the time you see that, it's too late. You have to redo things. That is more money, more time, more like it's a mess dealing with people who have learned on the job. I'll advise, if you can afford an expert, please go for an expert than someone who has learned on the job and things are, you know, they see monkey do monkey what, something like that. Monkey see monkey do. They've seen, but they don't know why it's even done like that, but they've seen someone did it like that, so that is it. So anyways, we struggled a lot with fundis on the site. You get someone, they tell you, oh, me, I'm an expert in this, and then they mess up your things. You have to redo things. Then once you're done, you realize, oh, so this was supposed to be here. I remember there's this one thing that bothers me on our house. One of our bedrooms, they put a small window. Yet the entire house, all the bedrooms have big windows. So from outside, actually this car window looks like it's a bathroom window or something. And yet it's a bedroom. So we had to redo that, because now it looked so weird. But that we thought of it last minute when we are done even with plastering, and we're like, so are we going to leave this thing like this? Like we are leaving this window like this, doesn't match. From outside, okay, it may match, but from inside it's a different story. So like there's a lot of things you have to redo when you're dealing with fundis, people who learned on the job. There's a lot of things you have to change, and that is also another cost. So if you can afford a contractor, better go for a contractor, because if they mess up, you tell them to redo on their cost, not on yours, because you've already paid them. So they cannot do what you don't want, what you didn't agree on. So they always have to redo your things, and it will not affect your finance. So plaster was a different story. I remember we used 2 people. One came, did the ground floor, and somehow we were not satisfied with the work he did. We dropped him. Second floor, we had to get someone else who did a better job. And then when you're not there to monitor, these guys can do their own things. They can even steal from you. Not even, they always steal from you if you're not there. So you're spending a lot of time at the site. You're supervising these people like they don't know what they are doing. So the time you waste, oh my God. That's why still a contractor is the best. So plaster, we had to use 2 people for the reason of, you know, because my husband is so keen on details. Like details. He will come see something and he will be bothered with it until you make it right. He will not give you peace. So we had, you know, to use a second person who did a better job, and then he had to redo the entire house for us to feel better. And then as we speak, we've been struggling with lights, buying lights. Oh my goodness. Up now we are still changing, because we bought some lights and putting them in the house. We didn't like them at all. We're like, no, we have to remove them and change. So we have a friend of ours who travels a lot and is into such business. So we told that person to buy for us lights. So as we speak, we are waiting for the lights. So we still have some lights that we don't really like. So we are waiting for someone to save the day and bring us the lights that we really like. And reason being, doing things faster because, you want to move in because da 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 da. Like, so we end up making a mistake of buying the lights that we didn't like. But anyways, the point is, building a house, you need to do a lot of research. You need to make sure you're not rushing into something. You've seen a good light and you buy it immediately. The moment you buy it, you notice, oh, every house has it. And you feel bad. This is your house. You want it to be special. So make sure you take your time. Research before you purchase. Research. And if it means for you to wait, wait. Because it will save you. At the end of the day, you'll be happier that you waited. Wait. And if you're using Fundis, be on the site 24/7. They'll steal from you if you're not there. They will do their own work if you're not there. They will mess up things if you're not there. Like these people, they only do what they've seen. Sometimes they don't even use their the logic, like, oh, this is a small window, but this is a bedroom. So why? Like, no, they'll just, because the plan shows it's a small window, they go for a small window. Those are the things that I used to say, but you guys didn't see this. Like, you guys, we have to come back and show you the mistakes. You're like 15 people on the site, and we have to show you. Like, 2 of us have to come and discover there's a mistake here. It was too much work. But we've experienced the good and the bad. But again, it's your house. You're so excited. But I think we'll be done with this house in the next, I don't know, 2 years, because there are a lot of small changes that we have to do that we don't like. And for us to have peace, they have to be changed. And that is a result of using a fundi. If it was a contractor, the moment you see it, they change it immediately. So research, make sure you're there for your project. Treat it like a baby. Because if you don't give it attention, my dear, I remember when we started painting, one of the ceilings corrupt because whoever did the plaster didn't do a good job. So the thing came down and we had to redo. And yet this was like an expert. And then you wonder, so what happened? How come this thing is a mess? Like, why is it coming down at this point? But those are the things that when you're not there, they mess up. They do their own thing. They just want to finish and go, and they get paid. So do research. Make sure you pick exactly what you want, and make sure you create time for this project, and make sure if you're on a budget, you have to double check where you're buying. Because construction, they tell you this, let's say they'll tell you painting will take 100K. When you start painting, it will cost you 200K. And that was not on the budget. The extra 100 was not on the budget. So such things happens a lot in the process. So if you're not so keen on the budget, it will mess you up. And that's when you find people are so stressed. I thought the house would be done in 2 years. Now it's taking 5 years. Oh, I thought it would cost me, let's say 1 million. Now it's costing me 2 million. Like, that's the disadvantage of not keeping it in the budget and trying to go above your budget and trying to do, oh, I've liked this light, but the budget for the lights, it was 100, and now because you've liked it, you're above your budget. It will mess you up. So I hope you learned something from this, and I hope if you're building your dream home, make sure you do research, make sure you give it time, and make sure you're there to supervise, and take your time when you're deciding and buying something. Look for opportunities. When discounts, when can I get a discount? Get it, because it will save you somehow. So I'll see you next time. Let me know what you think, and comment, like, and thank you for listening and watching. I'll see you again. Mwah. Bye.